back for another video. This video has been like long overdue, being that Nyla is almost a month now, but she's still considered newborn. So we're doing my birth story and a birth Q&A and a mukbang. So we have Cane's, got the fries, got my coleslaw.
I already started eating mine. So.
Yeah, she's been eating hers. Got some sweet tea. And mom life, I'm breastfeeding. So before I even get into the story, if you came here to look for actual like video and footage of the event or my labor, sorry, everything happened way too fast to even get footage. I do have like a little clip of like us getting to the birthing center and cutting her tube or her umbilical cord. Hold on.
Trying to get on the nip.
Okay, so it started 4 in the morning. Rashad was getting ready for work. He has to be to work at 5. So I started to notice I was having contractions probably about like 4 in the morning. But they weren't like super painful. It was kind of like, okay, I know I'm in early labor. That's probably about it. So I figured I was going to be in early labor for a long time because that's at least what my midwives was telling me. Well, they didn't say that. They're like, for everyone it's different. So you can be in it a long time, or it can go by super fast for you. It just kind of depends. So around 4 in the morning, they were starting, and I was having contractions. I want to say probably every like 10 to 12 minutes. So I want to say probably like anywhere from like 4 to 5 an hour. And from like 4 up until like 7, I was able to get somewhat sleep in between each contraction. But once like 8 o'clock hit, they started picking up a little bit and getting more painful to where it was kind of like I had to stop what I was doing and like catch my breath. So the pain was definitely like building up, but then again, it wasn't unbearable yet. 9:30 hit, and that's where I was like, okay, let me at least call my midwife, because whenever you do at the birthing center, at least my birthing center, who I went through, they want 2 calls. Your first call is when your early labor starts, and you know for sure you're gonna have the baby that day, but it's not like gonna happen right away. So I called her around 9:30. I was like, hey Stephanie, I'm having contractions. Been happening since around 4 in the morning. And I'm having them this far apart, and I know for sure it's gonna happen today. She's like, okay, well, call me back when they're 3 to 5 minutes apart. They last 60 seconds long, and that's been going on for at least an hour. So I was like, okay, cool. So knowing that I really wanted to film the process of the whole birthing story, event, situation, I called Bethany and I was like, hey, I'm in early labor. Can you come over, so we can start. You can deal with the Leah while I soak in the tub. Because I wasn't going to record till we got to the birthing center. So she got to my house probably about 30 minutes later, around 10 o'clock. Something told me to call Rashad when she came in. I called Rashad and I was like, hey, you probably need to come home. I'm in labor. He was like, okay. So he got home not even 15 minutes later. And from there, it was like, oh my gosh. It was bad.
Scared the hell out of me.
It was bad. Because I was stuck at 3 centimeters since like 34 weeks. But I guess once my labor started, I went from 3 to like 10 in a matter of an hour. Like, I dilated so fast. My early labor was not long at all. From start to finish, I started labor at 4 in the morning. I had her by 11 o'clock. So if you're a mom and you've been through labor, that's like 7 hours. That's not long at all. Being that most of it was a little bit part of my early labor. So Rashad got there at around 10:15, and I'm in the bathtub soaking. And he came in, and I was just like, bruh, like, these contractions are hitting. Like, so he was like, well, you need to get out the tub, call your midwife. I didn't think it was time to call my midwife because, again, it hadn't even been an hour since I had called her at like 9:30. It was just barely 10 o'clock, 10:15. But Bethany was like, well, you're not getting a break in between. You need to call her. And I was like, what'd I say? I was like, no.
You're like, no.
It hasn't been a full hour. and they're not lasting a minute. In my eyes, they weren't lasting a minute because I felt like a minute was a lot longer than it actually was. But they have been lasting a minute for at least, like, I'm going to say a good 30, 45 minutes. But once Rashad got there, if you've been through labor, you know, like, you have a contraction. They're like waves. You have a contraction, and then you have a break in between before you have your next contraction. I wasn't getting that break in between. It was just straight pain, like, the entire time. So Rashad was like, well, I'm going to call your midwife. So he called the midwife, and she was like, are you sure? Like, are you sure it's time? Because it hasn't been a full hour since I last spoke to her. He was like, yeah, she's in a lot of pain.
Because you kept saying that it was stuck.
I was like, something's stuck. It's stuck. And then they were like, okay, well, you need to try and get up and move. And I was like, no, I can't move. I can't do it. Because whenever I moved, the pain just, like, intensified so much more. It was like I was, like, immobile. It hurt so bad. So the midwife was like, well, how far apart are her contractions now? He was like, she's not getting a break. They're just staying there. She was like, okay, hurry up and get her here. So it was around 10:15, 10:20 when that was going on. It took me at least 30 minutes to get out the bathroom. Like, no lie, y'all. I promise y'all, every time I stood up, my back felt like it was breaking. It hurt so bad. And so then I went to wipe myself. Because this may be TMI and then we're eating food, but oh well.
I'm done.
I had been having, like, to have, like, number 2 that whole morning. So I guess my body was clearing myself out. So I had the feeling like I was still having to use the restroom. So I was like, Rashad, wait, I need to use the restroom. Thinking I had to use the restroom, but it wasn't that. It was time for me to push. And I was still, like, thinking, okay, I need to use the restroom. So I went to go wipe, and it was just, like, straight blood. I was just like, I'm bleeding. And he's like, well, you're supposed to bleed. You're in labor. And I was like, no, it's not a bloody show. It's, like, just straight. Like, it's, like, blood. Like, something's tearing. So I did, like, one big push in the bathroom because I just couldn't hold it no more. And then for some reason, I was able to walk. So then we hurried up and got to the car. The whole thing of recording was out the window because it was just too much going on. She had to take Aaliyah to her house because we were at the point where it wasn't going to be good for her to see me going through all that. So she was going to take her to her house and then meet us at the birthing center when I had the baby. So we got in the car. It was me and Rashad. And I was like, I have to push. And he was like, okay, you know, like the little holding part on the car. He was like, hold that and just push. So she has apple juice in that thing.
Come on.
So he was like, go ahead, push. So whenever I felt like I had to push, I put my head on his shoulder. I had a foot, like, up by the window, like where the lock button is. And I was holding the bar. And I pushed. And I think I did, like, 2 pushes in the car and my water broke. And then I did one more push and her head was, like, right there. So I did another big push and her head came out in the car. So I was like, oh my God, her head came out. Her head came out. So Rashad's driving, trying to check on me still and the baby. So he's driving and then looking like this, driving and looking. So then I did one more push, holding her head, and her whole body came out. So I delivered my own baby in the car. So that was like, that was an experience. I promise you. Kid you not, we were running red lights, speeding and everything, trying to get to the birth center to make it there in time before she came out, but it just was not working at all. So, yeah, I had her in the car. If y'all hear someone crying, that's Aaliyah in the back with her dad. But yeah, so, like I pulled her up. And she didn't cry. I was like, she's not crying, but she was looking wide-eyed at me. She was just looking like this. And I was like, she's not crying. She's not crying. He's like, she's up. She's looking at you. She's fine. And I was just like, no, she's supposed to cry. But I promise y'all, the contractions are so much more painful than the pushing, at least in my opinion. Pushing gave me some relief and made me feel better because it was like I was finally able to do something. When the contractions were just going, I couldn't do anything. So it was like just sitting there waiting for the pain to go away. And like I said, in my case, because it happened so fast, I wasn't getting a break in between. The pain wasn't going nowhere. So it was just like, whatever I can do to make the process go faster, I'm going to do it. So that's how that happened. So I did not have her at the birthing center how planned. I delivered my baby in the car. So that is another reason why we don't have footage, because so much was going on in the car with me, we didn't have time to film at all. At all. So she comes out. Aaliyah had to come out, as y'all know. We were in the car 10 minutes, so really my pushing only lasted about 10 minutes. So she came out, we called my midwife, and she was like, what, you had her in the car? Okay, get here, hurry up. Because this may seem nasty, but if you're a mom, it's not nasty. She was out, but the placenta was still in it. She was still attached with her umbilical cord to the placenta. So if the placenta's left in there too long, you can get an infection. So that's why they wanted me to hurry up and get there so they could deliver the placenta.
Okay, I'm done.
So after we called her, we called Bethany. And we're like, we had the baby in the car. She was like, shit, I just got to the house. Not even like, she didn't even open her door.
Yeah.
She didn't even open her door. She was like, all right, well, let's go, Aaliyah.
Ready to get back in the car. I was just walking up to the door and I got the call.
Yeah.
I was like, whoop, turn around.
Yeah, so delivered my baby in the car.
Okay.
What you doing? I have nothing for you.
Face.
Y'all, I would have saw her face. Aaliyah ate all her food.
She didn't even eat it all. She still got 2 chicken strips left.
You want fries?
She got fries.
Well, then what you looking at my plate for? You better not. Don't spit. Don't spit. Go take a nap. Go lay down.
Try to let you come. Nope.
In the room.
That's enough. That is enough. Shut it down.
So we get to the birthing center. They are waiting for me outside with the wheelchair, because of course I had a lot going on. I wasn't about to walk. You want to hold her? Yeah. I couldn't walk. So they got me out the car, put me in the wheelchair, brought me to the back, did everything, delivered the placenta. I did tear, so they had to stitch me up and everything. Cleaned me, cleaned the baby, all that good stuff. So officially we had her in the car at 11:20. We got to the birth center at 11:30. And we were able to leave by 3:30. So that's a plus about a birth center. You're not there for days. But y'all, that was an experience for sure. You want to tell them, Bethany, how you were acting while I was in the bathroom? I don't know. I had the door closed while I was in the bathroom. She was out there with Aaliyah.
I was trying to keep Aaliyah distracted because Aaliyah started to hear noises and she was like, oh, mommy hurt, mommy hurt. So I'm trying to sit there and distract her, and meanwhile I'm trying not to freak out because I'm like,
she's like, what the hell is wrong with her?
I'm
Like, why
oh
is
my
she
God.
screaming?
I was like, I guarantee you her neighbors think somebody is murdering her right now by the way she is screaming.
Because I had like 3 or 4 screams where it was probably like, what the hell is going on over there?
Yeah.
Because that was when I wasn't getting my break. So it was like, my body was just, like, I felt like I was dying in the bathroom, to be honest, y'all. And that may seem that may seem dramatic, but I felt like I was dying. But, whew, that was an experience, y'all. But now looking back and thinking about it, I could do it again. If it was to happen again how it happened this time, I could do it again. Because it went by so fast. Now, if it was how it was with Aaliyah, I was in labor with Aaliyah for 17 hours. There's no way I was going to be able to be in that much pain for 17 hours. I could barely do 7. So I know for sure I wasn't going to be able to do 17.
That's a whole lot of hours.
It's a lot.
That's too close to 24. So, yeah.
That is a lot. A lot. So, if you came here looking for footage, I'm sorry.
You didn't get that. It was too much chaos.
It was too much going on. But I did ask some of my followers on Instagram and stuff what were some key ways that you got questions y'all wanted me to answer? And a couple of y'all did ask. I think I can remember. One person had asked if you tear or an episiotomy is needed. An episiotomy is where their head can't break past your band to come out, so they have to like cut you to allow more space for the baby's head to come out. So the question was, if you tear or an episiotomy is needed, what's the procedure since you don't have a doctor in the room with you? And the answer to that is your midwife is a doctor. They're licensed just how a doctor is, but they just have their own practice. And that's just solely what they do is deliver babies. So anything your doctor can do, your midwife should be able to do. If she's a licensed and she's a good midwife, she should be able to do for you. So like how I tore, my midwife was just able to just give me, she put spray to numb me a little bit, and then she gave me shots to numb it completely, and then she just stitched me up. So the same thing your doctor would do, your midwife would do. They just stitch you up. And being that you are natural, because with the birthing center, they don't do epidurals because they have to have what is it called? Anesthesian, whatever. Like, y'all know what I'm talking about. The person who does the epidural, your midwife can't do that because you have to be in a sterile environment, and they don't consider a birth center to be sterile. So that's why you can't do epidural. But being that you're not on epidural, like if you were to tear in a hospital, they just stitch you up right when the baby comes out. So you don't even know if you tear unless they tell you. But with the birth center, they have to actually give you some shots down there to numb you, and then they'll stitch you back up. So that's not a big worry or anything like that. The same thing will happen in the hospital, your midwife would do for you. Another question someone had asked was, what's more painful, pushing or contractions? What do you think is more painful, Bethany?
The contractions. I've heard the pushing part is easy. It's the contractions.
Now, each person's different. Me, that's how mine was.
At least that's what my mama told me. So
contractions were horrible compared to pushing. Horrible. It's like because you're stuck, your body's not able to do anything. And the contraction is to get you ready to push. When I was able to push, I felt so much relief. It felt so much better. Not saying the pushing doesn't hurt, because it does hurt. I mean, a baby's coming down your birth canal, but compared to contractions, I would push all day long. Not saying I would want to, because it is exhausting. Like, I really was pushing for 10 or 15 minutes, and I was so exhausted after. But pushing for sure is less painful than the contractions. Another question was, what's the difference between delivering at a birthing center and delivering at a hospital? One main thing is that at a birthing center, you cannot stay over 24 hours. Once you get to that 24-hour mark, you're considered as an emergency because you've been in labor too long, and they'll transport you to a hospital. That's the main thing. Another main thing, there's no medicine. It's completely natural, unmedicated. So that's an experience too. If you have a low pain tolerance, really, if you have a high pain tolerance, it's still an experience, because birthing is like, that's something different. Another thing is,
where are you going to?
You're able to go home within hours after you deliver the baby, as long as the baby passes all of their tests as far as like temperature and things like that, and you're fine. You don't have a fever, you don't have an infection, things like that.
Yeah, I know.
Another one, with the birthing center, I only did one ultrasound. That may be how some is with the hospital, but I know sometimes they'll do more than one throughout your pregnancy. I only did one to measure her and make sure that like her organs and all of that were there and functioning. But to me, the main thing for me was that a birthing center was a lot more peaceful than a hospital, because then the birthing process, they trust you to know your body. They're just there to literally catch the baby and make sure that you don't have an emergency and that you don't need to be transported or anything like that. And birth centers they can't be no more than 5 minutes away from a hospital. So for whatever reason, you're in labor too long, or the baby's distressed, or whatever it is, they have a hospital on standby. Now, once you get to where you're pushing for like past 2.5 hours, they call an ambulance on standby. is to have them there just in case. Once you reach that 3-hour mark, they automatically transport you. So a lot of people think birth centers are like not safe and they have a higher like infant mortality rate. They don't. Actually, that's the baby, guys.
Hi. Oh, okay.
Actually, hospitals have a higher infant mortality rate than birth centers do, and that's surprising. But the birth center and your midwife trust you to say when you're ready to push, or when you for you to tell them what's going on.
Why you lift up like that? Like you about to say, "Hey, y'all." She lift up. Sit back. Thank you.
But for sure, if I was to get pregnant again, which I probably will, no time soon, at least like 4 or 5 years, I know for sure I would go with the birthing center. It's cheaper, it's a lot more peaceful. And because I delivered in my car, my balance was deducted by like $2,000. Mind you, it's already not even half the price to deliver at a birthing center than it is at a hospital. I'm self-paid, so I think the total balance was like $5,000, and I had paid like $1,000 already. And then with the birthing center too, you have a year to pay off your balance once you deliver your baby. So balance was like $5,000. I paid $1,000 before I had her, so I owe like $4,000 left.
You getting ready to yell at me?
But because I delivered her myself in the car, they adjusted my balance. So I only paid for like the stitching and the numbing medicine and stuff like that. So that was a plus, to be honest. But
you just wide up. Take you a nap.
It was definitely an experience, y'all. And I will say, props to like women who go natural with twins. You know, people do that.
I would just like to say, y'all are better than me. Okay, because like I told Telisha, I'm gonna need all the drugs they can offer me as a pregnant woman. I need all the drugs. I don't handle pain that well.
It's not for everybody. I mean, I will say honestly,
what?
With the pregnancies with Aaliyah and Nyla and delivering, Aaliyah was the complete opposite. I got induced, I had epidural, hospital, all that stuff. I was in the hospital for almost a week because I had preeclampsia. With this one, it was like smooth sailing.
Why are you up?
But I will say also, at least maybe it was just me, I noticed the baby comes out a lot more calm when you don't have epidural, and they're a lot more active and alert. Like, maybe that was just my children.
She's completely different from Aaliyah.
Mm-hmm.
Aaliyah was a hot ass mess since we discovered her. She was super fussy. Put her through it. She was like seriously put her through it.
She was fussy, like from when she came out, fussy. But unless she's hungry, that's the only time you'll hear her cry.
That's the only time you'll hear her cry is if she's hungry or if she's wet and she's over how she's feeling in that diaper. Yeah. Other than that, she's like she's really what she's doing now is usually what she does. She just sits here.
And I will say, epidurals do have side effects. People can say they don't all they want to, because I have back problems now after having an epidural.
You cool?
One, because with Aaliyah, they put my epidural crooked, so I have more on my left side than I had on my right side. So when it came time to push, my right side had wore off. So I don't know.
And if y'all haven't noticed, I like to smell her. I know it's weird, but I love the way she smells.
But yeah. Let's see. So this is Nyla.
Wait a minute, got the shirt. There we go.
Yeah, I know her outfit's too big, but I thought it was cute, so I still put it on her. Okay.
Go say hi.
I'm gonna say hi. Say hi, YouTube. Hold on.
This one. We know you can hear. You had your hearing test today. They said you could hear perfectly fine.
Say hi.
You just be ignoring people.
So she's 3 weeks now. See, I still consider it a newborn. I'm still fresh.
Yeah, I still fresh. I'm still fresh, baby.
But yeah, definitely, it was an experience, but it's something that I will definitely do again because of how peaceful it is. Yeah, you can have it.
Sorry, y'all.
You can have it. But This probably was a boring video for you, but it's just a chill and eat video because I don't have footage. I do have that small clip and a picture that I'll insert in there, but I don't have footage. It just didn't go that way. But
And then sorry y'all if I was looking over y'all. I gotta watch the cage. Steve in there trying to make Bella do something strange for a little piece of change, and I ain't having it.
But yeah, so thank y'all for watching. Short video just to update y'all about what's going on. I for sure will be uploading every week at least. But my hands are full, as you can imagine. Got 2 babies now. Trying to start a business. At-home mom. Stay-at-home mom. Stay-at-home wife. So, as you can imagine, my hands are full. But I for sure will upload at least once a week, for sure. If I can do more, I'll definitely do more. But I promise for sure at least once a week. Not sure what the upload day will be. Either will be a Sunday, Monday, or Friday. Y'all let me know what day would probably work better. Comment down below if you made it to the end. Like, comment, and subscribe. Share my video. And if you're a viewer but you're not subscribed, which happens to be where a lot of my views come from, because right now I'm at 50 subscribers, but I get way more views than that. So just imagine.
So why?
Yeah, I'll link her channel in the description bar. Just imagine if everyone who viewed subscribed. It's just one click for you to click it and go on about your day. That's all.
We all trying to make it out here.
We all gonna make it. But I appreciate y'all for watching, and we'll be back for more videos. So peace out.